Hey there, guys, out in Facebook world and Twitter and YouTube, and I'm Jay Cherry here. And don't you know, as soon as I go live, my kids are about to pull in. So I'm going to play this video for you of the testimony that I did last February. I want to talk about the legislative session coming up, share an article with you from the Connecticut Mirror about the Connecticut religious exemption to vaccinations. So I'm going to play this for you while my dogs bark like crazy because my kids are coming in. This is my testimony. I'm going to pull this up right here and play this for you. Hopefully you got, whoops, we don't see that here. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I didn't share the screen. Sorry about that, guys. Where is my share screen here? Here we go. So I'm going to play this for you as my crazy dogs bark. Can you see that? Yes. Let me zoom that out a little bit. Hold on. Sorry about that. All right. So here we are. I'm going to play this for you. Hopefully it's not too big. I'm going to zoom that out a little bit. Let me zoom that out a little bit for you guys. Oops, that's about as far as I can take it. Okay, here we go. My 28 years of being here in Connecticut, being active and coming up to the Capitol for various different causes. I've never been here at 4 a.m., so bear with me. I'm going to talk about Merck, the makers of Vioxx. Merck, the manufacturers of Verifax. They're being Merck. The Merck Verifax vaccine injured my child. I'm not anti-vaccine. My children were vaccinated. Okay? Not with all the vaccines. I decided with my family and my doctor which vaccines were right for us. So we did the chickenpox vaccine, the greatest regret, right? So Merck is being sued for fraud for Zostafax. That's the adult shingles vaccine. Zostafax is not covered under the 1986 Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. Zostafax is about to be taken off the market as hundreds of people sue Merck. My child was injured by a Merck vaccine. I just want you to hear that. Merck, the makers of Vioxx. Why on earth would you force your constituents by withholding a public education from their children? Shut up! And force them to take a product from a company like Merck? Let me also just say this. Merck is being sued for fraud for the mumps portion of the MMR. There are over 11,000 outbreaks and cases of mumps in this country. Go look on the CDC website. There was just some mumps cases here in Connecticut. Where is the media? Where is the outrage? What laws we need are to rein in the pharmaceutical companies. What laws we need is choice with vaccines, because if you pass this law, you're going to force us or have our children be taken out of school because there's no other place to get the measles vaccine. What if we don't want the rubella portion, like someone else said here earlier? What if we don't want the mumps because it's fraudulent? 2 virologists have whistleblower protection. This court case has been going on since 2009. Go try and read about it because they have it all locked up legally, right? But it's happening, and it was just proceeding forward. Lots of discovery going on. This is what tort law does. Tort law protects us from bad products and bad companies, like Merck, the makers of Vioxx. Merck, the makers of Zostafax, they're being sued for fraud for Gardasil. They're being sued for vaccine injury for Zostafax. They're being sued for fraud for the mumps portion of the MMR. Merck, the makers of Vioxx. Why would you put your constituents in a position to either forego a public education, which is a right? We are the Constitution state. I love Connecticut. I'm going to stay here and fight, but my husband and I talk often about leaving this state if this continues.
I'm going to have to stop.
Thank you. I appreciate all of you for being here. I want to say just this one last thing, okay? I've been following many of the states with this legislation happening. I want to say that I'm so thankful to all of you, even the ones that I've interacted with that I don't agree with. I just want to say thank you because you're all here. I want to say thank you for allowing us to testify because in California they didn't. Thank you. Please kill this bill.
Are there any?
That was last year, and we are gearing up for our legislative session. January 6th, it starts up again. And at the end of that testimony, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me, my dogs are barking during this live, go figure. But so it was 4 o'clock in the morning when I gave that testimony, and at the end of that testimony, you see me thanking the Public Health Committee for allowing us to have that testimony. Well, that is something that's not going to easily happen now because of COVID. So I just want to, point out that at this epic hearing, there were thousands of people, and the hearing went on for 23 and a half hours. And this bill, HB 5044, which did get out of committee last year, it hasn't been made into a law for the governor to sign yet, or a repeal, because it's not a law. They're trying to repeal something that is there, an inalienable right to say, I don't want a vaccine for my child to attend. It's public and private school. By the way, I should have specified that in my testimony, but it was 4 a.m. But it's public and private schools. So any school in the state of Connecticut, at this point, you still have a right to say, I don't want this vaccine for my child, and utilize the religious exemption. Now, what they're trying to do is repeal that exemption, saying that it's being abused. So one of my big beefs with that is, how does the legislature decide what is abuse? Will you utilizing your own inalienable rights to make an educated decision about what you do and do not want for your child to attend public school that you pay taxes for, or private school that you pay tuition for, that kind of thing? So this was a historic hearing. So this was last year in 2019, that testimony. And so now this year, I'm going to get here, so I want to share the screen with you guys. Hold on a second when I get this up here. I'm going to bring you over to this article that is in the Connecticut Mirror. What this Connecticut Mirror article is saying, and I put that in my show notes. Sorry about that. I lost the screen for a second. I don't want to waste a bunch of time trying to get it back. Let me see if I could quickly paste it in here, because I did have it there before. Let's see if that works. No, that's just the eCam live interview. Sorry about that. So but basically what's going to happen is the Connecticut legislature is going to come back into session in January 6th, and their top priority is to pass this bill that would repeal the religious exemption. It's already gotten out of the public committee. Now, the interesting thing is Matt Ritter, who is, let me see if I've got to pull up that article. Sorry that I lost it. Let me just pull that up because it's important. So Matt Ritter, who is now Speaker of the House, I want to say that he upped his role in the recent election, and he's all excited. And this is a pet project that he's had of his for a while, is to repeal the religious exemption. Now, just a little bit about Matthew Ritter. He is part of this company, big lobbying firm here in Connecticut. Here we go. Let me pull this article back up for you guys. So there's lots of conflict of interest. Muted. I don't want to be muted. Sorry about that. So just want to say that fact out loud. So here we go. So Jonathan Steinberg, who is a Democrat, is also a co-chair of the Public Health Committee, and he expects a lot of fear around the coronavirus vaccine to complicate the rollback of the Connecticut religious exemption. And he's basically, what the state is saying, it's not on the childhood vaccine schedule yet. And, no worries about that. So mandatory childhood vaccines include the measles, the mumps, rubella, the diphtheria, the pertussis, the tetanus, the polio, the the influenza type B, and also flu shots for preschoolers, actually. That is also a mandate in the state of Connecticut. So I just wanted to hone in on this last part of the article, where, let me just even make mention of this. It says a Quinnipiac University poll found that 30% of Americans would be unwilling to get the vaccine. So I think it's more than that. I've seen it be more than that, but whatever. So, and here Martin Looney, he says, now he's been a senator forever. So he says only those who are opponents of the bill we had last year are looking to undermine it. It may raise COVID-related fears, but that's not a relevant concern. Interesting. So, it goes on to say, what happened is that two of the Democrats who voted against repealing the religious exemption are not on the committee anymore. So Matt Ritter took them off. So House Speaker Matthew Ritter, Democrat of Hartford, said, the majority of lawmakers do not support the religious exemption for vaccines currently on the state's list of mandatory immunizations. My suspicion is that when you talk about the measles vaccine, I think that has the votes to pass the House, he said. So recent changes of the Public Health Committee could also help hasten the process. Representatives Jack Hennessy, Democrat Bridgeport, and David Michel, Democrat Stanford, who were the only two Democrats to vote against the measure last February, did not get appointed to the Health Committee. Asked why they were not reappointed, Ritter, a key proponent of the bill, said, I did my best to give people the committees that they wanted to be on. But there are dozens of members of the caucus who were not able to get all the committees that they wanted. Well, how convenient for Matthew Ritter to not have to worry about having any trouble getting this bill out of committee as soon as possible, which it is out of committee, I'm sorry, but they're going to beefing it up, they're going to strengthen it up, and that's a pretty serious concern that I have anyway. So I want to also share with you guys this video that I found on Twitter, if I'm able to then share my screen with you again. So here we go with this video I found on Twitter, and this is just take a look at this.
Tomorrow morning, and I'm grateful for it. Chuck, I just wanted to say, just a follow-up on what Yasmin mentioned. Just for your viewers out there, I know one of the individuals who we just saw getting vaccinated is planning on traveling after the second dose. This is a source of confusion, but no, this is one of the misperceptions here. Just because you get vaccinated with that second dose does not mean you should be participating in things like traveling in the middle of an out-of-control pandemic, or that you're liberated from masks. Everything still applies until all of us get the 2-dose regimen. We don't think that's going to happen until June, July. And again, this goes back to what we just talked about, Chuck. We don't know if just getting the vaccination prevents serious illness, or does it also prevent you from getting infection entirely, meaning you can still get infected with the virus potentially and pass it on to others. So really, really critical. Don't let your guard down just because you got vaccinated. You still might be able to get infected with the virus and pass on others. So please keep that in mind.
We've all learned how much the asymptomatic has actually been the super spreaders. And
oh my God, I can't even stand this. Oh, Lord have mercy. The asymptomatic super spreaders. Oh my God. Guys, this is insane. Now is the time more than ever when you really got to stand up and speak your mind and say your piece before you can't. Because they're about to, our legislature in Connecticut is about to come back into session, okay? And when they come back into session, their top priority is to repeal the Connecticut religious exemption so that you cannot opt your children out of a vaccine any longer, whether it be public or private school. And don't even think that homeschoolers are safe, because you're not, because they're going to go after everyone. Right now in New York State, there is a bill to mandate the COVID vaccine. I also want to point out, I'm going to see if I could pull this up for you guys. I didn't put it in my my slides, but I think I can easily pull it up for you and share this headline with you. I took a screenshot of it because I was so disturbed by the idea of this. So both the Moderna vaccine and the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine have not been studied on children. So interestingly, in the Pfizer paperwork that they sent to the FDA, buried in there, there's a sentence, and I covered this on a show last week, where they tested the vaccine on 15-year-olds. It was 15 to 17-year-olds. Could have even been 12 to 15. There was a range of kids that they tested on, about 100, and they didn't include it in their qualifications to get the executive order, because I just want to specify that the executive order is that, I keep saying executive order, excuse me. It's so much on my mind, executive order. Emergency usage authorization is not the same as FDA approval. So the emergency usage authorization for the Pfizer BioNTech, in the paperwork that Pfizer and BioNTech submitted to the FDA to get the EUA, there was a discussion about the fact that they did give the vaccine to children under 16, a group of 100, not younger than 12 years old. So it was like 12 to 15-year-olds, and they didn't have the data to submit with that. So anyway, what I want to share with you is something that I found really scary. And now did I lose that slide over here? Let me see. Now I lost. Nope, here it is. So I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can see this as well. Check this out. So this is ASIP here. I'm going to see if I could blow it up a little bit more so that you can see it. Let me see if you can see that. So this is ASIP here. And as you can see, ASIP votes interim recommendation amendment to 2021 child and adolescent immunization schedule. And you can look this up yourself and go check it out, but they are definitely recommending this vaccine to 16 years old and up. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. So your high school kids in the state of Connecticut could be, subjected to a mandatory COVID vaccine if they repeal the Connecticut vaccine, the Connecticut religious exemption to vaccinations. So I just want you guys to be aware that they say that the COVID vaccine is not mandated for kids yet, but they're one step closer to it. And what we have to know and understand is that they lie. They lie with impunity, and we need to keep all eyes peeled to make sure that we don't get caught up in their lie and think that, oh, it's okay. You got to get up and stand up for your rights right away, today, no later than today, now, immediately, and do this, because the time is now for us to rise up and do something about this. There's one more video that I want to share with you on Twitter. So I'm going to pull this up for you guys here. What did I do with this video? So I just, the thing that's really shocking to me, I'm sorry, it's not a video, it's a slide. So I'm going to share this slide with you. This is from the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. Oops, the wrong thing. That's a poem somebody wrote, so I don't want to share that right now. Here we go. So this is from the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. And as you can see, as I'm going to pull it out a little bit, COVID, I'm going to read the highlighted parts here. Well, I'm going to read the whole thing. It's only a paragraph. So COVID-19 diseases may have long-term effects on certain organs, and at present, it is not possible to assess whether the vaccine will have an impact on specific long-term sequelae of COVID-19 disease in individuals who are infected despite vaccination. Demonstrated high efficacy against symptomatic COVID-19 should translate to overall prevention of COVID-19 related to the sequelae in vaccinated populations, though it is possible that asymptomatic infection may not be prevented as effectively as symptomatic infections and may be associated with sequelae that are either late onset or undetected at the time of infection. So, yeah, there you go. That's out of Pfizer. That's out of the Pfizer BioNTech literature that they submitted to the FDA. So if we just take a short step back from these alphabet agencies, the FDA, the CDC, I say, who works in those agencies? Who are these people? Who is... now Dr. Fauci isn't in the CDC or the FDA is in the NIH. So who are these bureaucratic scientists? I'm going to put that in quotations because like everybody's saying how they believe science. Well, we want to, science is really, really important. And I don't understand why people are running around screaming, believe science, but have not a clue what they're even talking about half the time. Because if anybody really read the science, like I just was reading to you out of their own trials and studies from Pfizer directly, saying that what's the point then, basically? It's not going to stop asymptomatic transmissions. And actually, when you get the vaccine, guess what? You are going to be more likely to spread a virus to somebody because you've been vaccinated with it. And there's something called viral shedding once you're vaccinated. So it's just really interesting how things are twisted and manipulated and not really looked at. And when we stand back and we look and we say, wait a minute. And also the PrEP Act, which was passed for the coronavirus, so that these pharmaceutical companies, they're not liable for any of this. Just think about that for a minute, guys. They're not liable for any of this. Not a thing. Not liable at all. Not a thing. They're just not liable. They have no liability. Craziness as this is. And then I just also want to bring this up to you as well. So this is a screenshot of what Bell palsy is. I'm going to see if I can bring that up a little bit so you could get a better look at that. So this is a screenshot of Bell palsy here. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because both the Moderna vaccine and the Pfizer vaccine have a signal for Bell palsy. In my opinion, it's a signal. So in the Pfizer vaccine, they have a signal. They have 4 people got Bell palsy after getting in the vaccine group, because they have 2 groups, the placebo group and the group that's getting the vaccine. 4 people got Bell palsy in the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine trials, and 3 people got Bell palsy in the Moderna vaccine trials. That if there's anything that's going to be a signal, right? I would think that would be it. But you know what they say? They say for the population of people that they used in their study, it's normal. it would be normal occurrence, that population. And it might sound like that could be the case. Okay, maybe, but let's just think about it for a minute. You take all these healthy people that they put into these trials because they want the healthiest of the healthy to be in these trials. Although Pfizer did say they were using people who have HIV. That's what I read in there, who were not, or chronic conditions, who are not, not suffering right now, or what, healthy people with chronic conditions. I guess that would be the case. But anyway, typically the participants are all pretty healthy people. So both Moderna and Pfizer both show, people getting Bell palsy right after the vaccine. That's not a signal. I'm surprised that that's not a signal. But interestingly enough, the FDA did put out a warning that people should look out for Bell palsy. So doctors should look out for that. And they've even admitted that they don't know what all the adverse outcomes can be for this shot, okay? They've admitted that. I'm going to pull up one more screenshot for you guys here. So they've admitted this. Believe it or not, it's shocking that they're going to put this onto the market. They don't know what's going on. You are part of the trial. You are part of the phase 3 trial. There's no secret in that. They're admitting as much that you are part of the trials. So let me pull this up and I'm going to share a screen with you guys. And hold on a second as I get everything's running a little slow and then I had mute for a little bit. So I apologize for that. So, well, I'm seeing some good comments on there, guys. I appreciate that. I'm going to get to some of your comments too in a second. So I just wanted to share this also with you. It's just, to me, is absolutely crazy. Did I put this up here? I thought I had shared this article today. It was basically a headline out of CNN saying, don't be surprised if people drop dead after getting vaccinated, like not to be surprised. And unfortunately, I'm not finding that article. That was kind of like a spur of the moment where I wanted to show that to you. I thought I had put a link up there. So, don't be surprised about that if people just died. That was, CNN was talking about that. Another mainstream network was also talking about that. They have delivered the vaccine to, they just brought it to Bacchus. That was today. I'm going to share that with you. That was just today. And you'll notice something that they're doing. They really are trying to push this on the Latino community and the Black community. I want to share this with you. We're going to be doing a show and talking about this with some of our friends in the Black community to talk about this, because we've been having this ongoing discussion. So the vaccine is going to be prioritized for Native Americans. There was just an article out about that. And there's been a lot of talk by Lamont about how to get, there's a lot of people in the Black and brown community who are hesitant, and COVID there's an inequality with access to the same medication. So we're going to offer this vaccine to Black and brown folks first. And you'll see in their PR that all the people getting the shot happen to be Black people, which is really interesting. Black nurses and doctors. There's a nurse, ICU nurse, and now there's a doctor here at Bacchus Hospital. Let me share this with you guys, if I can get this share screen here. So here it is. So the vaccine arrived at Bacchus Hospital. And you can see this man, he's getting a shot. I believe he's a doctor. I didn't fully read the article. I'm really just looking at it. It arrived at Bacchus. And the fact that this is, they have a Black man. And yesterday in New York, it was a Black woman. And there was another state where it was a Hispanic woman. And I'm thinking, what are they, this is propaganda 101. This is propaganda 101. This is what they're doing. And it should give every single person a pause for concern as they're trying to convince the Black and brown community that they want to take this shot first, that they're going to get special treatment and get this shot first. This is eugenics 101. Okay, this is an outrage, and it's something. Talk about racism. Okay, they're pushing this shot on minority communities. They also want to push this shot on the elderly. Okay, think about it. Do you guys know about eugenics? Do you know? Think about history too. Think about that, and think about how this playbook has been playing in throughout human history, and this type of thing has happened before, not with COVID, but with other things. In Nazi Germany, it was typhus, and an excuse to ship all of the Jewish people off to concentration camps, and then put them in gas chambers, telling them that they were going to protect them from typhus. It's the Tuskegee Experiment here in the United States. So we have the Tuskegee Experiment here in the United States, that Black men were experimented on. They were given syphilis, or had, I'm not sure if the government gave them syphilis or they had syphilis and didn't know it, or it was a combination of the two. And they studied them for decades and nothing changed, but they got caught. So they're doing the same thing again. They're going to do that. Lamont's got plans. We're going to talk. In fact, before I go, I just want to play this beautiful woman. She's an attorney. Her name is Trisha Lindsay. She is a powerful voice. And just take a listen to what she has to say. Let me see, make sure I got her. Let me just make sure I got this right. Bear with me. I was going to put my glasses on, make sure I put up the right video. I'm having all these snafus today as I'm going live, because I want to do more lives and get more shows and have more guests and all that kind of stuff. So let me see where I put her, this amazing woman. I think this is right here. So I'm gonna play this video for you because she says it so powerfully. So just to like reiterate, let me play the video and then I'll show you the screenshot again, or actually the link to the article again. Here we go. This is Trisha Lindsay.
Thank you for having me. I don't have much to say because I think it's what has been needed to said has been said very well by Attorney Fester and Dr. Lewis. But what I will say is I'm going to speak directly to my community, to our community, the Black community and the Latino community. You all, I need you all to wake up. And I need you all to come forward, and I need you all to speak out against this. A movement such as this is too important for us to speak behind closed doors and speak within our closed circles and our families and not come to the forefront and speak up against what's happening. If you are going to allow a governor who you've never seen come into your churches, he's not visited schools, he's not spoken to the multiple other issues that are going on in the Black community, and has not rolled out any initiatives or anything to assist the Black community with regards to health care, with regard to education, with regards to equal resources for food and other things like that. What about the socioeconomic status of the Black and Latino communities in Connecticut? What about all these other issues? The first thing that you're going to come and now present yourselves to Black churches is about a vaccine that is still in its experimental phase. We are not guinea pigs. This will not be another Tuskegee, and we're not going to allow it. Ned Lamont is being called to the carpet, and anyone else, any other legislator or anyone else that is on this bandwagon, let him and his family take the vaccine first. Let Bill Gates and his family take the vaccine first. Let the legislators take the vaccine first. We don't need it. We're okay. We're okay. When you come to us and you roll out other initiatives, because at the end of the day, if the Black community is healthy, COVID will not affect us. I'm healthy. I'm a healthy person, right? And I've been doing business. I've been in and out of public. I've been in and out of grocery stores. I've been in and out of regular stores. I've been riding my bike. I've been walking. I've been out in the public, and I have not had COVID yet. You know why? Because I don't have any major underlying health issues. The problem is that the Black community has a large percentage of our community that are dealing with underlying health issues and other factors that come into play. And so if COVID is affecting us, it starts elsewhere. So don't come to our churches and try to convince us, because when you try to convince me of something, it tells me that you're hiding something. Because if you present me with the truth, the truth will prevail. Give me the facts, give me the data, and then I will make a decision, and then you don't need to convince me. But if you're trying to convince me, it means you're trying to manipulate my mind, you're trying to tweak, and you're trying to switch the narrative and trying to tell me that something is there that's really not there. You are not welcome, Ned Lamont, and everyone else that's with you, Bill Gates or anyone else that is a supporter of pushing this vaccine in the Black and Latino neighborhoods. And that's for humanity on a whole, right? Black, white, or otherwise. But the fact that they want to come and target our communities, just like they have been doing in the history of this country, it is unacceptable, and we're not gonna allow it. And we need our community to speak up, because here's the deal: if our community, I'm talking directly to our Black and brown brothers and sisters, if you think that this is just going to go away, or that we're going to fight it and the vaccine is going to go away, or they're going to come and give you a choice because we're fighting, it's not going to happen. They're going to tie it to freedoms they're going to tie it to social services. They're going to say you cannot go to school, you cannot travel, you cannot shop, all these different things. They're going to say you cannot get whatever, Section 8 or anything else, health care or anything else that we're entitled to. And so if that happens, then there's a lot more at stake here, and we have to speak up. We cannot allow this to happen, to go on. Thank you.
That is a very powerful statement. Tricia Lindsay, civil rights attorney here in Connecticut, came up to Hartford back in September to do that press conference. I have the whole press conference on YouTube if you want to check that out. And thank you guys for hanging out and commenting. I see some great stuff hanging out in the chat. So yeah, was my video silent now? Hopefully you guys can see. I see levels, so hopefully you guys can hear. We've been having a lot of snafus with my technology today. So bear with me as I do these live shows. I'm going to be doing more of them, and they will get better without less glitches as the software and I get really acclimated. So I apologize for that. Thank you for letting me know that. So yeah, I just wanted to leave you guys with those thoughts, and I'm going to sign out now, and hope you guys stay above the snow. Get ready for the big battle that's going to happen in Hartford. They're not going to let us come into the building, but I think it's very important that we plan to show up, whether we get into the building or not. We need to show up. Oh, you can't hear me now. Uh-oh. So I'm not being heard. Let me see something. I see levels. Can't hear you now. Huh. All right, guys. I'm just going to sign out because I'm definitely having some challenges and snafus. Until we see you guys again. Ta-ta.